be so good. Anyway, welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. You guys know the rules. Don't do that, Jeff, whatever you're doing. We got Jeff here, we got Joel, and we're going to do this little podcast.
Thanks for the warning.
I kind of like these rolling intros.
No, people like it. You get the banter going. We didn't talk about anything crazy, Joel.
It wasn't crazy.
Yeah. Your theories about how to fix the economy were not recorded.
Yes.
Okay. Well, anyway, you guys know the rules, so let's get to it. Joel, I'm rubbing my hands together. You got a good topic for us? Does something trigger you?
Nothing triggered me. I'm not going to go crazy.
Did you do something this week in shooting?
Maybe. I did. How'd you guess?
Well, that's like basically your other option.
I could have show and tell.
You could, but I don't think you bought anything new because you're kind of cheap.
This is actually true. Yeah, so this week in shooting, I took a full 2 months off from training for the off season. I know, all I did was shoot. I shot a local match, which I'm not going to lie, it was just for the social aspect, because I like hanging out with my friends. I did like some demos and a training group I organized, and then I went to the range a few times with my friends just to punch paper. Like we were playing with other guns they have, but I hadn't trained at all. So the weather was surprisingly nice for January, and I decided to shoot a club match. I dry fired for about a week or so beforehand. It's when I picked up, started training again. But I was surprised how fast things came back. Like for not training at all for 2 months. I'm still a little rusty, but I didn't feel like I lost any significant ground, and I feel more energized. I'm ready to get back to it. So I took like 2 months off.
I think that's smart. I think that's the way to go.
And I'm ready to roll, man.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I lost anything. Like it wasn't the match of my life, but it was okay.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so off-season valuable, yes?
Very much so.
I think I took kind of December off. Not exactly, but basically. Actually, now that I'm thinking, I shot a lot, but I didn't really take it that seriously. Maybe that counts as an off-season.
I'm like I had the conversation with 3 different dudes where they were like, "Oh, they want to make up ground. They're afraid they're going to get left behind." And it's like they're training every week still. It's like, man, it's cold. Got one dude that's like he's going to the range of snow on the ground. Yeah, at our range you can. I mean, it's cold. There might be snow on the ground. Maybe you're not getting your brass, but
no bueno.
I mean, they're dedicated. So I'm like, you're not losing any ground. It's just good to get a fresh perspective, relax, and then when you're ready to roll, go hard again.
Jesus.
So when you guys are shooting club matches that you don't really care about, how do you find your performance?
Well, overall, I have to make myself care about club matches because actually the conversation with my friend where I was debating about it, I'm like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to crush everyone because there's no reason in going it was like 40 degrees, that's as cold as I want to be out there. Like if I'm going to go and it's going to be 40 degrees, I am going to do my best. So I'm going to dry fire beforehand and I'm going to make it worth the effort to go because I'm not going to stand around at 40 degrees for 6 hours if I'm not going to do my best. So, yeah, it went okay. I got another Benjamin on a classifier, and so I felt good about it. It could always be better, though.
Yeah.
You're smirking.
I don't know. I thought it was a fun term. I like that. I thought that was cute, Joel. I think you're being cute.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yeah.
But I don't change my training at all for club matches, but if I'm going to go, I still want to do well. And even though I don't necessarily feel the pressure of maybe there's no one there that's going to beat me, it's still about doing the very best I can possibly do.
And how about this, Joel? If somebody did beat you, would you care?
I'd be livid.
Oh, well, I want to go to your club match now. Just to take a dump in your Cheerios,
That's good. Well, and getting smashed every once in a while is good for your perspective too, because just winning everything all the time. Sometimes I think you need a good beating to motivate yourself too.
I prefer winning. I've been on both ends of that. I really prefer winning all the time. It's
I
no,
agree.
it's very stressful. People think that you're God mode, but it's not. It's not like that. It's a lot of
Well,
work.
yeah. And then, like for you, they expect to see magic.
Yeah.
When you're shooting, they want to see. They expect you to destroy those stages.
Now you just shoot the
So,
things in the center, put more bullets in the gun, and keep shooting. You don't do anything crazy.
but people definitely have expectations
Yeah. Well,
of how they think you should do. So I try to
it's kind of
roll
their
with that
problem.
too. Yeah, make it more make it more stressful.
All right. Um, Thank you, Joel. Excellent. Off season accomplished and helpful.
Yes.
All right, I want to talk about something people blow me up all the time on the Instagram, especially because I've been shooting a stock 3 lately. So I'm posting pictures of the stock 3. Then I post a sushi picture. Then I'm posting a stock 3 picture. And then, what? Do you prefer the stock 3? Is the stock 3 better than a
Which
stock
one has
2?
which one has a
Why are
lighter
you
trigger?
shooting a stock 3? All right. Okay, yes. All right. So I'm gonna address your concerns, people. Now that I've spent significant time with my stock 3s, they were just kind of around before. I've had them for a while, but it wasn't time to shoot them yet. It wasn't their turn. My plan was switch into stock 3 mode after production nationals because I got to shoot the stock 3s in March at a big match. So I'll get some time with them and all will be well. My opinion before, not a big difference between the stock 3 and the stock 2, going to be honest. Stock 3 is a little longer. The balance is a little different. Not a lot, a little bit different. The stock 2 has the bull barrel, but I don't really know if that matters in terms of the accuracy. Not that I can really tell. Both the guns seem accurate to me. So, all right. So now I've been shooting the stock 3s a while. I mean, I put down, I don't know, 8,000 rounds in the last few weeks with the stock 3s. That was good. I shot a match with them. Doing a lot of stuff. My opinion now, not a lot of difference between a stock 2 and a stock 3. I am well, I shouldn't say I am. I was annoyed by the balance on the stock 3s when I was really trying to hammer transitions because they're a little more front heavy and a little longer, so it's hard to transition them quickly and precisely. I wouldn't really say, maybe it's not hard. It's a little different. It's not as
It's just learning something new, right?
yeah, it's different. And I definitely prefer the stock 2s for drawing. Like without the front heaviness, I like the way they feel when they come out of the holster. These are not big differences. They're fairly minor. I will say that the stock 3s are a little bit softer in terms of felt recoil, but they're also a little slower. Like they don't have that snap. And I tried playing around with springs or anything, stuff like that, and I got them to where I like mine now. And this is minutia. So if you're listening to this, I'm not. This is not hugely noticeable. It's minor shit. None of it's a big deal. But yeah, I played around with that stuff, and I kind of came to the conclusion that if I knew it was a long range shooting match with not a whole lot of fast shooting, just shooting at distance, I'd probably prefer the stock 3s, just because they feel a little more stable with long shooting. And I don't miss the bull barrel just in terms of the accuracy. I can't really tell the difference. Close range shooting, high speed drawing, reloading fast, USPSA style stuff, I would definitely prefer the stock 2s. That'd be my opinion, but it's really minor.
To ask a follow-up question, you said you had to do the stock 3s. That's due to barrel length, right?
That's
Is
a
that
legal
correct?
issue. I could have, I suppose, had gotten stock to Australia's, the Australian models, but I didn't even want to get those from Tanfolio just for availability reasons. Like I didn't want to dick with having them get those to me in the U.S. and then I'm shooting a gun that you can't buy.
Yeah.
You know me, like that's my thing. I don't like that. That's why I don't shoot the extreme guns for that reason. I mean, yeah, I can get the extreme guns. That's not a problem for me, but I prefer to shoot guns that are readily available and cheap and relatively cheap. So that's why I got the stock 3s. And anyway, on review, do I prefer one over the other? Not really. They're not really very different. Probably I like the stock 2s, and that could just be I've shot those for so long. when I got those and I was switching from a Beretta, I remember the stock twos felt like tanks. They're so heavy. And now it's they don't feel heavy at all. So anyway, that's that.
So is the stock 3 going to go into rotation with your limited gun as well?
Well, it is the rotation right now.
So even once you start picking up, once the regular season starts again,
Oh, you think I should shoot it in USPSA?
would you?
Okay. Well, if I do that, there's kind of no going back because I might make a couple minor changes to the gun. Like you're allowed to grind a little bit more on it, and if I do that, then it's not going back to IPSC. It will be interesting. Which guns do you think I should shoot at the extreme? Because I haven't picked guns yet for that. That's in June. It's either stock twos or stock threes. What do you reckon, Jeff? What should I shoot?
So yeah, it's interesting. It's a good mix of targets. You have that long range kind of stuff that you said you prefer to stock 3 for.
Yeah.
It's definitely the close stuff is USPSA style.
Well, it's more running, so in the hit factor. But yes, basically.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I could just flip a coin, right?
Man, it's almost like you're shooting single stack. You go to the match, like, do I want my major or my minor gun? You get to the match, you're like, look at these stages, like, ooh, do I want to get out my stock 2 or my stock 3? Like, ooh, look at these long shots. The stock 3 is just the ticket for this match.
I will say, like my stock threes have been, they've been good. Very undramatic in terms of reliability. They work good. You know, shooting stuff well. Haven't had any issues with them. They're good guns. I'm quite happy with them.
And timing a gun for like high speed, close range ninja shooting, like as far as recoil, could you tell a difference? Did that even matter? Like if you're doing, let's say a bill drill or something like that.
Yeah, the stock threes just feel they feel soft and kind of like I mean, to give people an idea of my preferences, I shoot 124 grain bullets by choice. I don't like that super soft 147 or 150 grain stuff. I don't like that feeling in the guns. So I like that the stock twos, so they're shorter guns, so the recoil system is less movement. It's just it feels a little bit faster, but a little bit more snap. You know, I think they feel good. The stock threes just feel soft to me. That's all. So like at close range shooting, it's not nice when the gun feels soft, you know? Like I shoot my limited guns faster because it's, 40 caliber, there's more recoil, there's more energy in the gun. It makes it easy to shoot it fast. But then at longer range shooting, I start, you really don't want the gun moving around when you're shooting it at all. So that starts to become more preferential to not have that. It doesn't matter that much. You'd be fine with either gun.
Yes, I think that's the moral of the story.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Which one's
Hetherington
prettier?
shoots the stock threes. Oh man, which do you think is prettier?
Stock 2s, dude.
You think so?
About that hard chrome life, yeah, man.
There's a nice sleekness to the stock 3s, though.
I think that Jeff, you're just trolling now. You did. All right, enough of my nonsense. Jeff, did you do anything with shooting recently?
It kind of links into an interesting thing that's triggered me. Not that much, but still, it's kind of annoying. So now that we are into our indoor season up here, lots of new shooters tend to come out, and as someone who, as one of the better shooters up here, I guess, fielded a lot of questions in regards to a lot of equipment questions. So, comes down to what gun should I be using, and one of the most popular guns we have up here is a Shadow 2. So we'd have a new shooter with a Shadow 2, not doing very well because they're shooting against other good shooters, and consistently thinking it's a gun problem. So we would help them, myself and others would help drill down fundamentals, kind of address potential issues that we're seeing, and at the end of the day, it goes back to, I think it's the gun, I need a new gun. and it's how do you
Oh my God. Are you
stop
talking about
someone?
specific people, Jeffy?
I'm not naming anyone.
I know you're not naming anyone.
So different divisions, different guns, everything's been tried, but still like a 20% shooter. So how do you help someone who I think genuinely wants to get better, but
But
just
they
won't
want a
take
new gun.
advice, but just thinks a new gun is the solution?
How do you help them?
I mean, they are asking for help.
But do they really want it?
I'm inclined to think so.
Well, let me ask you this, Jeff. If they already have it in their mind, they've already decided the gun's the problem and they need a new gun, do you think you could talk them out of that to be happy with what they have?
I guess not. But right now, I guess the approach is I'll let them go through 5, 6 different guns, still shoot like shit, and then come to realization maybe it's not the gun.
Okay, well, I've seen this sort of stuff. I actually had a very interesting conversation with a gentleman at a match I was at a while back. A guy who's not a USPSA shooter but wants to be, and was just at the match scoping it out, and coming up and asking me tons of questions. And well, despite what you read on the internet, I'm not that bad of a guy, so I answer his questions and whatever. But it's all gear, and I let him play around with my gun. He's fucking around with my stock too, and he can't believe it because
Your trigger's not that light.
Joel, you know this. I do not have a blinged out stock too at all.
No, because you want it to work all the time.
Yes, it's like no. This gun has to function. There are some responsibilities I have that involve shooting any gun that you hand me. That might be something that I have to do. Like I have to be able to shoot a gun with a heavy trigger or a factory trigger. If it's got a 12-pound double action trigger, I need to be able to shoot it. That's one thing. Another thing is I need my guns to work with any ammunition that I can get locally. I also don't like dicking with my guns, so if you set them up so they're popping primers good and everything's running fine and I don't have to touch them for 30,000 rounds, cool. Like that's going to make me happier than a lighter trigger. Okay, so that's the way I am. It just is a guy he could not wrap his head around the ammunition I was shooting, which was not soft. It was just regular ammunition. No, it's not soft. No, it's not scraping the power floor. No, it's not 147 grain. Like, no, it's because I want my gun to function. And he just couldn't wrap his brain around it. And I kind of got the sense talking to this guy, he was not really accepting this. Like this is it's training and skill. That's what's going to make you do well with like a regular gun. You don't want to have a stupid gun, but with just a regular gun. Like you're going to get more out of practice, understanding what you're doing, than you are out of dicking around with your gun.
It's like the magic diet pills that you can like eat pizza for every meal and still lose weight, or buying skill, like buying this gun that's going to make me shoot better. It's the hard work is what you have to do.
Yeah, or at least understanding what you're doing. So how do you help that person? Well, when I talked to this guy, he didn't really want to hear what I was telling him. Didn't really want to hear it. Like he didn't really want to accept it despite what was right there in front of him. So then you're just like, okay, so you answer the questions and away they go. So in your case, Jeff, if you're getting the vibe, I want to say some sexist shit right now. I have occasionally encountered the type of women who are at the range and aren't really. Well, let me put it this way. The dynamics of being a female at a shooting match means you're going to get a lot of attention because there's a preponderance of dudes there. Are you with me so far, Joel?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Okay, you're following what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's the type of person or the type of lady that feeds on that. Like totally digging that attention. And then there's the type of chicks that don't really care. Like they're not really there for that. The chicks that are there for the attention, like with the attention aspect, like they can find anybody to say anything to them that they want to hear, and then they can just kind of pick which opinion that they're going to go with. You know what I mean? So in those situations, it's like, am I going to add my opinion to that? No, because that's not going to be helpful and it's not a productive use of my time. So if it's somebody that doesn't want to hear it or somebody that's getting so many opinions that, it's not helpful anyway, then I would disengage from that. So Jeff, would your person fit into one of those two categories? Or people that you're talking about, maybe more than one, I don't know.
Yes, they would.
There you go. It's like I can read minds, almost. I don't know.
Yeah.
So no, there's no help in that person.
An approach I have taken in a similar situation is like, here, let me shoot your gun, like in training. And then even if it doesn't fit my holster, like I'll start from low ready and just like rail on something very hard at potentially a very high level and like slamming alphas. Like, yeah, there's nothing, this gun's fine. I could shoot this gun. And it's like, oh, that's another way to kind of get your point across.
And I think that would prevent further questions at that point.
Yeah. It's like, no, this is a great gun. As long as you're not shooting something crazy. If you're shooting like a high point or something, then obviously that's not competitive. But if it's a gun that's reasonable for the division and it works, it's reliable, roll with it.
Yeah, and then the other thing is if people have gear that's like straight up stupid or wrong, a gun that is completely missized for them, or they're talking about buying a gun that would be stupid, or how about this, suboptimal?
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good time to step in, where it's like, no, like that's just not the right size for you, or it's like, hey, you probably, that's a big one. You should probably buy a full-size handgun if you're shooting USPSA. That's probably a good thing to have. You should probably buy a 9mm if you're going to shoot production or carry optics. That would make sense. Like those like really fundamental things, that's good. Hey, if you're not sure what to get, well, here's a few good options. You could buy a stock 2, you could buy a Shadow 2, you could buy a Glock, and you just give them a few choices and be like, yeah, for gear, you want it to look like this. There's a few holster options. You could buy a Boss holster. You could buy, the Springer Precision hanger, whatever the fuck. You could buy whatever you want. Like you have a bunch of choices, but like stuff that broadly fits in the right category.
And the cool thing about our sport is if you go to the range, at least around me, like there are people that will trip over each other to like go to the safe area and show you their gun and explain why they like it, and like they'll let you, go shoot their gear, which is a good thing about the sport. So yeah, try before you buy.
Yeah, you totally can. And then if somebody has stuff that's wrong, you can help them out with that. So Jeff, does somebody need to change guns to get away from being a 20% shooter? What do you think?
Well, it would depend if the gun was.
I don't think so. I think
the correct gun to start
20% with pretty much anything. And then watching this play out, this makes you mad, Jeff?
It makes me mad, but it's also fucking entertaining. There's a lot of Instagram attention to these queries that are also posed to the general public, I should say, in regards to the specific instance. So seeing some of those responses, it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, for people who don't know anything about IPSC?
Oh, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to some questions. How's that sound?
Let's do it.
Have you personally called out rule violations in progress at local and major matches? Well, I think that would be yes for me. Some examples: a competitor starts a mini walkthrough the stage at make ready and steps away from the start position without the RO's approval. Oh, okay, make ready, step away from the start position without RO's approval. Would I call that out? No, I would not. Well, not in front of people. An RO starts a competitor in the wrong position, i.e. holding a magazine in their hand on an unloaded start. Ooh, you call out the violation in progress as it happens. Perhaps you could give an example of two contrasting scenarios and describe how things went after you called it out. To take this a step further, how much time are you willing to spend talking or arguing with the RO who is not on top of his game and does not know the rules and He's not willing to concede before taking it to the range master. Jesus Christ. What do you think about this question, Joel?
Let's kick it to Jeff first. He likes crazy talk. My computer like took a dump, but I'm back, I think. So.
All right, Jeff.
Sure.
What do you say about this?
When I'm a shooter, I'm a shooter. I don't really call things out. The only exception to that, I would say, would be something like an incorrect start position, because when it comes back to it, there's going to be a reshoot, and that's just wasting my time. So in that case, I'll point something out. But other than that, I'm wearing my shooting hat. I don't really care about rule violations at that point. I wouldn't call things out, especially not publicly. I might say something afterwards to the shooter, depending on my relationship with that shooter. But it's not my place, and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, so there's a way to correct these things without being a dick, and there's a way to correct them when you are being a dick, and then there's sometimes you have to be a dick to correct things, and then there's sometimes it's not worth it to be a dick. Does that sound about right, Jeff?
Yeah, pretty much.
So if I see, like, for example, if I see a competitor do a mini walkthrough at the make ready, I would not say a word. Probably, like right then, I'm not going to say anything. I would, depending if I know the competitor or the RO, one of the two parties, afterward, I'd be like, yeah, so you're not allowed to do that, and I don't want you to get in trouble at a local match, blah, 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 something like that. I would address it in that way. I'm not going to like start shouting from the bleachers while the make ready stuff's going on, or probably not anyway. Rules violations at major matches, like if some stage is getting run wrong or something fucked up is happening, I probably wouldn't spend much time even talking to the RO about it. Usually most range masters want you to talk to them. Like the range master, if the range master has to get involved at some point, I'll usually just skip the RO and just have them call the range master if it's something that needs to get fixed. But I'm not really so concerned with the rules violation as I am with it being a fair match for everyone. That's something that you have to ensure that, and that you don't want people, breaking rules. Maybe a lot of times they don't know it's a rule that they're breaking. Let me put it this way:
an honest mistake.
I'm fairly confrontational, like personality type. I'm fairly confrontational. One of the more confrontational people I know, and I'm comfortable being confrontational. Like, there's nothing I say on the internet that I will not say straight to your face, like happily, and I will accept the consequences of doing that. For example, and I'm not much of a prick about minor rules issues. You just have to make sure the match is fair. That's the stuff that starts getting me worked up. Like if there's a real problem, and I start going to the range, like I'll get the range master, like, hey, there's this thing, we got to fix this. It's mostly like fixing a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think like yelling out in the middle of things, like trying to correct everyone from the bleachers. That's not going to earn you any friends. Yeah, it's not going to earn you any friends.
I'm probably not going to argue with the RO. It's not going to be much of an argument. I'll say one thing, they'll say the other, and then like that discussion's over, and then it'll be the range master.
Yeah.
The fact is that there's all sorts of rules violations that you just have to look the other way, or you're going to go insane, and people will hate you. I know a few people that are like asked not to come back to matches, for that reason. Just for a rules violation, if it's like a fairness issue, or like picking apart people's stages, like if the stages, there's something wrong with them, but it doesn't really affect things, like you want to talk to them to do a better stage next time. There's a great example. A club I shoot at had an illegal target presentation at their match, and
oh boy!
So did I shoot the stage at the match? Yes. Did I address the illegal target presentation? Yes. Was I a dick about it? No. Did other people, like, there was a conversation had and blah blah blah, they're not going to do it again, but nobody's feelings got hurt or anything. Like, there's a way to address those things that's not gonna cause problems. And then there's sometimes you have to be a dick. Sometimes you have to be an asshole. You have like there's no way to address an issue without irritating people, and that's the stuff that has to get addressed.
I would try the diplomatic approach first.
Yes, of course. You have to try. There's some situations I can remember where I've tried being diplomatic, and I'm just doing it as a formality. Like I know that being diplomatic will not work with this person. There is, they understand one thing, and that's a boot up their ass. But that's not many. Most people are pretty reasonable in shooting. Most people are cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking of even a local match I shot where they set up a stage, and there was a very large loophole in this stage where I could. I'm thinking a lot of people would have, or if I shot it this way, a lot of people would have gamed that. So it's like, hey, I don't know if you knew you could do this. He's like, oh no, I didn't see that. Thanks for telling me. Like, perfect, Or like you said, if somebody gets done shooting and they do something that's maybe against the rules, the RO didn't catch. Like, yeah, hey, just so you know, you did this. Make sure you don't do that in the future. That would cause issues for you. Oh, thanks for telling me. I didn't know that. There's just no reason to come off abrasive.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, you don't always have to be abrasive. You're a pretty nice guy, Joel, and you can correct these issues.
I try.
Yeah, I mean, there's a nice way to do it and a productive way, and there's an unproductive way. Nobody likes the guy that goes to club matches and starts yelling about like minor issues. But then I've been to other club matches where they make up DQable offenses.
What?
Yeah, and then you just like, yeah, I would like go to war with that match director about that. Like go to war, like escalate it as far as I have to. I don't care. Because like that's not like I'm not gonna stand for that. So it depends. This guy in the email comes off as pretty confrontational though, in a way that I don't really like. I think he's a nice guy though, probably. Okay, well that's it. No more questions. No more nothing. Thank you so much for coming on, Joel and Jeff. Jeff, I'll be seeing you very shortly.
Yes, you will.
For Time Warp people, I'm recording this very shortly before I go to visit Jeff in Edmonton. It's been every year for a while, hasn't it been, Jeff?
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
I just want to hang out with you, Jeff. You're jealous?
Yeah, I want to hang out with Jeff.
You don't want to hang out in Edmonton this time of year, dude.
I was going to
It's
say,
about minus 20 here.
Oh.
Is that at American or Canadian degrees?
I think at that point it's about the same, isn't it?
I think it's minus 40. They're the same.
You got my attention at minus. We're supposed to get a blizzard here that, who knows, they probably changed their mind, but it's supposed to be like 6 to 12 inches of snow or something. It's like, oh, forget that.
Enjoy your practice, Joel.
Yeah, I'll play.
Enjoy your practice.
I'll dry fire and play video games.
There's a couple business things we got to talk about. Not my business. Number one, the steelshootbanners.com guy wanted me to say that they have GSSF banners in. So I guess they've been selling enough banners that they added more to the lineup. So that is cool. And is there anything cool going on in training group, Joel? You're the moderator. Jeff, you're a moderator on there too. Anything I should make people aware of?
There's always cool stuff. I think your dry fire 101 was good for setting like the groundwork, just for people that maybe you want to know how to dry fire or just a lot of misconceptions.
Yes.
Trying to think of what I've seen compared to what's been dropped. Kim's on his third grip video. That's a lot of people are talking about that.
One. Yeah.
The third one was dropped today as a recording, and it's a good series.
Well, it's generating a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
Which is good, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting to me. Like he explains a lot of stuff in a lot of detail, and there's a couple parts I pick out of those videos, and I'm just like, yep. So that's the part I key in on. Like that's the class demo. Like that's the part that I like. That explains everything right there. I mean, I like that, but he has a lot of detail around it. A lot of content on there now. Joel, you're the most up-to-date person on there, I think. That would include me. Like, I think you're more up-to-date than I am.
I try to pay attention.
I'm too busy making content and doing feedbacks to stay caught up myself.
Hey, man, I got idle time at work. I got to deal with something, so.
Yeah. I think we have 15 or 20 hours of video now on there.
I think it's more than that.
Might be more. Don't know.
I'd be willing to bet money it's more than that.
How much do you want to bet?
Ooh, I don't know. I shouldn't have said that.
I could I could rig this to make sure that I win this bet.
Nuke a bunch of videos.
Yeah, just go in there, boom, boom, boom. Nope, not as much as you thought, Joel.
Plus all the video reviews. So yeah,
Yeah, shit.
there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. All right, enough business stuff. Anyway, questions, go to bensticker.com, send me your questions, and we'll talk about it on the podcast. Here we go.